Welcome back to the garage. Thank you for tuning in. What's up? It has been a while. I know I have been really bad about posting videos lately. Hopefully it gets a little bit better. I have a new project vehicle in the works. Fingers crossed. More on that in a few minutes. However, I figured now would be a good time to kind of update you guys on what's been going on with myself and Motive, what I've been up to. Kind of get you up to speed on some of the parts I've been producing. And first up is the 52mm gauge pod for the D40 Frontier. I'm really excited about this. It's something I've been working on for a long time. I originally made a few regular FDM 3D printed versions. However, this is a nylon 12 SLS 3D printed variant. And this is pretty much the only way I can produce these, with being a strong enough, high enough quality part that I'm happy with. That being said, they take a ton of finish work and they don't leave a whole lot of margin for me. So I'm not really sure how many of these I'm going to produce, but they will be available. I've already sold my first batch and I'm working on the second batch now, as you can see. And here's my logo with part number, all the factory clips. So it just pretty much clicks in place real easy, super easy to install. Here's what they look like before they kind of get to that point. This is sanded, maybe a little bit of primer. Here's kind of the undersides of what it looks like before I do any of the work. So there's a lot of work to get them looking like this. However, they're really, really strong and they look really good in the truck. So let's go ahead and install this one, kind of see what it looks like. So installation's pretty easy. From the front side, just lift up the factory panel, line up your clips, and push it down. That's it. It's that easy, and fitment is really, really good. I'm so happy with how it came out. The texture is not perfect. The factory panel is this really smooth, almost satiny, flat black. I have not been able to duplicate that. However, there is a subtle texture, and the paint is pretty close. So in general, the part looks really, really good. It does not look out of place at all. However, it's not the easiest or the cheapest part to produce. So we'll see how it goes. Next up is this overhead trim panel that replaces the sunglass drop down and holds one of those auxbeam 8-switch panels. I have a video on it. It's really cool. A lot of people ask if I can produce them. I do have the digital files up and available. However, it has not been a very easy part to produce. I do now have quotes and will be moving forward with it. So expect these out about mid-January, hopefully, but they will be SLS nylon 12 3D printed as well. And they'll basically just clip in place and be a great option if you really want to get, you know, the aux beam up here, up out of the way. Color, still work in progress. This LED light ring really accentuates the color difference. This looks much more tan, where this is kind of more gray. So I'm still working on that. However, in person, it's actually a lot closer than it looks on camera. All right, and for the last part update today, this is a part I made also in a video. I've gotten a lot of questions about it, asking if I'm going to start selling them again, because I did sell them for a little bit. However, at the time I was producing them on a SLA 3D printer, which is resin, if you're familiar with. It's pretty brittle, very easy to break, and it didn't leave a whole lot of confidence. If you're gonna install it and then pull it back out a bunch of times, you know, they're likely to crack. I didn't want to sell something that's gonna be that brittle, so I pulled them, went back to the drawing board, and then kind of redesigned them a little bit, thinned them out. Might be hard to see, but I got my logo, part number in on that. You know, it holds 3 universal auxiliary switches in that overhead position. I will have those available. I'm working on the process a little bit for those. So this is kind of how they come. It's SLS, nylon 3D print as well. They look pretty good. However, there is some texturing that needs to be sanded and smooth to kind of blend it back into the factory. This one has been primed and sanded. As you can see, those lines look pretty exaggerated. However, it is actually really smooth. This one's kind of a test for the texture and color. So I'm working on the process to get them dialed in, make them look really nice, but they will be available very soon. Got a whole bunch of them here, so I'm working on them. Now, I said at the beginning of the video, there might be hopes for a new project vehicle. I don't want to give too much away in case I don't end up getting it. It is about 10 hours away down in Las Vegas. It's not running, so it's going to require me to go pick it up, tow it back. And like I said, I don't want to give too much away in case it doesn't pan out. However, I will give you a few hints, and I'd love to see your guys' guesses down in the comments. So it is a 90s Nissan. It was cheap. It has 2 seats, and it's not a 240SX or a 300ZX. So Go ahead and guess. I don't normally talk about my wife's vehicles on here. You've probably seen it in the background at some point, but it was a 2018 Nissan Pathfinder LE. It was a nice vehicle. It had about 100,000 miles on it. It was paid off. Started having a little bit of issues, and we wanted to upgrade to get into something a little bit more reliable with a warranty that we can count on. And while we're at it, we figured we'd upgrade to something with all-wheel drive. So we decided to upgrade to a 2024 Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek. And if you're not familiar with that, it's basically just like a trim package. It has a few other goodies, a little bit meatier off-road wheels and tires, the roof rack, the grill's different from the other trims. It's got some badging. I think a lot of the black plastic and stuff like that is a little bit different on here. Moving on to interior, it gets a little bit different interior. So it gets like a leather with a synthetic fiber. You get the stitching up in there and the armrest. It comes with the rubber floor mats already installed. Paddle shifting. It also has a bonus of like 10 extra horsepower, which is nice, probably just to move the a little bit taller wheels and tires. It's not fast, but it's nice to have that little extra horsepower. It probably just puts it on par with a regular LE or something like that. It does have the paddle shifting, and then the electronics are pretty much the same as a regular LE. If you do have a 2022 up Pathfinder and you'd like to see some parts developed, let me know what they are down in the comments. I'm more than happy to start working on some parts for it. That being said, I've already made, designed, prototyped, 3D printed, and test fit a center armrest console tray, just like the Frontier, for the Pathfinder. It works great, just to find out that they already sell injection molded ones on Amazon. So not a big loss. If you're interested in that, I'll have the file already available over on colts3d.com. You can go download that for a few bucks. Go ahead and 3D print it, or just go buy one on Amazon. I don't blame you. Injection molded parts are nice, and it's so much easier. But I think it's gonna be a wrap for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know down in the comments what your guess is for the new project vehicle. Like I said, it's a 90s cheap Nissan with 2 seats, and it's not a 240SX or a 300ZX. So go ahead and guess.